So I'm doing week 2 for 4850, and it's all about assessments, which is helpful because in Chris Kennedy's class right now, we're also learning about assessments and how they can be helpful or how they can be not helpful. So assessments are continuing to be greatly used in elementary and secondary school to be used for accountability purposes under the ESEA. Purpose of assessment is for instructional, diagnostic, predictive, and evaluative reasons. A good assessment system will be balanced, which means it will include various types of assessment, for instance, formative and summative assessments. Formative assessments are a type of assessment that is used during the learning process to improve and adapt instruction. So I think this is extremely important in my future classroom. I'm definitely going to have several formative assessments, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be graded. I just want to understand where my students are at and how I can adapt and change my instruction to help them. And then summative assessments. Summative assessments are a type of assessment that is generally given at the end of a lesson, semester, or school year to sum up what the student knows and has learned. So there's a wide variety of types of assessments. Educational assessments can either be norm referenced or criterion referenced, which I realized we didn't actually have to read about, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. When using assessments to understand a student better is important. It has qualities as validity, reliability, and fairness. Assessment should have actually all three of these, not just like pick and choose, because obviously they're a pretty big deal. So assessments can play an important role in identifying students' eligibility to receive extra services supported through federal programs. So in general, to receive special education services, students are gonna have to take several assessments to see if the services are actually meant for them or if they're not. So students in elementary and secondary education participate in a wide range of assessments, as I've kind of already addressed. At times assessments are required, and other times they're voluntarily given to the students. So most common types of testing in the educational setting is achievement testing. So some examples of the main types of assessments include state, reading, mathematics, and science in high school, like the state test, high school exit exams. So sometimes students will have to take tests to see if they're eligible to graduate, and assessments to identify children for special services, which I just talked about. This also includes English learners. They'll need to take tests like these to receive services for obviously that. So educational assessments are designed with a specific purpose in mind, and the results should be used for an intended purpose. So you need to set a goal for you're giving this assessment, and then keep in mind that purpose as you're administering it and creating it. So instructional assessments is an assessment used to modify and adapt instruction to meet students' needs. Diagnostic assessments are assessments used to determine a student's academic, cognitive, or behavioral strengths and weaknesses. Predictive assessments are assessments used to determine the likelihood that a student or school will meet a particular predetermined goals. So see if your goals you're setting, if it's actually a realistic goal in a sense, is what I understood of that. And then evaluative assessments are assessments used to determine the outcome of a particular curriculum, program, or policy. The results are often compared to a predetermined goal or objective. So as I read, I got a lot of types of assessments in mind but it was helpful because now I know what kind of assessments might be more beneficial in a given situation and what might not be, and what I can use. So yes, so now I'm going to move on and talk about the video. There was 14 different assessments, so I'm just kind of going to briefly talk about each one because it was a brief video, but I'm going to talk about what I took away from that, and I can foresee all these being helpful too. So formative assessments, as we talked about above, we're checking for understanding, could be fast, as easy as just having your class give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down to gauge how they're feeling about a certain topic or question you're going over. So summative assessments, an example of this would be an exam. Formal assessments, an example of this would be the SAT. So yes. Then a diagnostic is a test given to determine prior knowledge on students. It's like a pre-course test, and it's not going to be graded because it's generally going to be on stuff the students have not learned about. An informal assessment is going to be short and sweet. It could be as simple as an exit ticket. Some behavioral assessments are common in education. It's an FBA, which we did in your course last spring semester. A rating scale is gauging understanding of a topic or subject, so it might be on a scale of 1 through 10, and a student would rank where they're at with this. Emotional assessment. This is generally for students who struggle emotionally. I don't know if that was the correct term to use, but emotional assessments are observations and questionnaires on students to see how they're doing emotionally. Screening is a response to intervention, so you're going to see how the intervention's working. Authentic project would be a speech or report, kind of giving the students an opportunity to demonstrate what they know in a more authentic way. Performance-based, in my opinion, is very similar to authentic testing. It allows students to apply and demonstrate knowledge. Group, individual assessment is common with students and with an IEP. Criterion reference testing is created by classroom teachers. So yes, this week's goal for this class, I think, was obviously the idea around assessments, and I feel like I took a lot away from this, and it's kind of nice to be able to summarize it all up. And I want to actually save the video because it just briefly describes all of them super fast and super quick, and if I'm ever in a pickle, I bet I could look there and see what might work best for my classroom.